What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? If you're watching this on time, I'm in Tulsa right now, April 5th and 6th at Bricktown Comedy Club. Next weekend, Kansas City, April 11th through 13th, Kansas City, Missouri. Los Angeles, May 2nd, Netflix is a Joke Festival. Rally Improv in North Carolina, May 17th and 18th. Harrah's in Atlantic City, June 22nd. Get your tickets right now at YannisPappasComedy.com. Also, join our Patreon for our weekly bonus episodes at patreon.com/YannisPappasHour.
Yannis Pappas. Yeah. When you all tucked up in the day long, and the news online going on and on, what's right and wrong, and it's something up. Now here comes a great kid you know you can trust. From the true who's who to the news and cameras to the fake politics and the propaganda. Yeah, this kid's screwed in, got a lot to say. Oh shit, it's about to be a long day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Yannis Pappas Hour. How are you? I don't care. I'll never know. It's just it's a formality. It's one of those formalities. How are you? Let's change it. Just like we rip down statues, let's rip down some of these formalities that don't make any sense, right? Sometimes the Zoomers like me got to get involved in this stuff, right? Zoomers got to reevaluate things and see things from another perspective. How are you? Hello. That's a greeting. Hello. That works. But how are you? That's not what this is about. That's not what this is about. How are you? A lot of people don't even know. A lot of people are lost in a perception of reality that is dictated by rationalizations. So they can't even tell me how they are. Okay? I ask you, how are you? You don't even know. You think you're good, but you're not. You're blocking out your childhood. So how can you be good? You're not good. Some people say they're great. I'm doing great, but they don't even know what their potential could be. So they think they're doing great, but actually they're doing awful. They got nothing to compare it to. Okay? So what's the point in asking? What's the point in telling? How are we really? I'll tell you how we are. We're alone. We're on a ball. We're floating in space that we have a limited understanding of. We have a limited understanding. Don't you think God should have told everybody what's up beforehand? You know, that would have been cool. Like, here, this is what's up. Then everything would run really orderly. But he left it to like nobody knows what's up. So everyone's just constantly trying to figure out what's up. Life can be summarized into varying degrees of trying to figure out what's up. Like, what's going on? Even in relationships, like, what is this? Even when you're married for 10 years, like, what's up? Is this still working? Is there a God? What's up with that? What's up with God? Why would kids die of cancer? What's up with that? What's the reason? There's a bacterial infection. What's up with that? What's up? How do we fix that? What's up with this? What is it? What's it? We're all in a state of constant what's up with this. We're trying to figure out what's up with this, right? NVIDIA stock is through the roof. Is it going to continue? What's the deal with that? We're all trying to figure out what's the deal with things. What's the deal with this thing? I have a what seems like a pimple on my asshole. What's up with that?
What?
Hey, doc, what's up with that? Every time you go into a doctor's office, you're basically going, what's up with this? Hey, I got this issue. What's up with this? My prostate is swollen and I peed slow yesterday. What's up with this? Is it something or is it nothing? What's the deal? So what's the deal is basically what we're trying to do all the time is figure out what's the deal is. Colin Jost looks like the handsomest kid with Down syndrome on the planet. If you don't know who Colin Jost is, you're a Republican. Because you don't watch SNL anymore. SNL's just Democrats watching. And here's the deal. We just watched Michael Che and Colin Jost, and Michael Che is an old friend of mine. And I got to say, I thought it was good.
Good jokes.
I thought the jokes were good. I mean, you know, the jokes, yeah, I mean, they got a team of guys helping them out. That's what the internet did. It kind of pulled back the curtain from that, right? It used to be like you just go, wow, TV magic. Now you got guys just going off the top of their head, being just as entertaining or if not more entertaining. A few of them, not a lot, right? I'll be honest about that. But you go, you know that there's a whole production, there's a whole force behind these people. And so when they do a bad joke, you're going like, What's up with that? Why is there a bad joke in there? You guys got 15 people working on this. What's up with that? And some of you even have stoppers. What are they called?
Starters.
You have starters, who are just a group of people that Seth Meyers revealed to Howard Stern. Their whole purpose is just to find articles that could be fodder for comedy. So what's up with this, guys? Why is there a bad joke in there? So the internet kind of pulled back the curtain to that a little bit, going like, okay, James Corbin, what's up with that? Why? Why James Corbin, right? The only one, because the rest of them are fucking great. I can't wait to go see Jimmy Kimmel do an hour. What's up with that? You know, that's what the internet did. But yeah, Colin Jost is a handsome guy, but he does look like his parents prayed really hard when he was born, and God granted the prayer that he won't have Down syndrome in his brain, but he will have it in his face. He is the handsomest. He could play, if there was a movie about people with Down syndrome, he could play, he's got Down syndrome leading man face. He's got he could be in a Down syndrome world. If they had their own country, he would be Tom Cruise. He'd be the movie star. He's got Down syndrome movie star looks. He does look Downsy on the face. So his parents prayed it away and it worked. But God said, here's the deal. The face has got to stay. And I like him. There's the guy from My Second Life who was an actor. I love Down syndrome people. I can make these jokes. My brother is special needs. I don't know why that gives me license. Isn't that funny? You could say the worst things and you go like, it's okay. You could be Candace Owens getting like, look, black people are all lazy and they're good for nothing. It's okay. I'm black. And you're like, it is a little weird, but also that's not cool. Also, that's not cool, Yanni. That's not cool at all. But I thought the jokes were good.
Yeah.
You just, now we have something to compare it to. It's like figuring out what happened to you as a child. You don't know until you have kids. And then you're like, oh, yeah, my parents did ignore me and treated me like they regretted having me. A lot of parents probably just go, oh, this is a thing. They're going, what's up with this? We thought it was supposed to keep our marriage together, and it didn't. We did it to save a marriage. It didn't work. What's up with that, God? Oh, we should get a divorce. I don't care about him. I don't care about the kid. I care about me. I want to be happy. What's up with this? So it's like now that the internet's around, we have something to compare it to. And there's constantly people making sketches. There's constantly people, and oftentimes they do it on their own, right? So, but doesn't mean that a lot of the stuff on SNL is not good at times. I thought Rami's monologue was decent. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. I think he's a talented guy.
You like the little Free Palestine plug at the end?
He got it in there, and he covered his bases with the also free the hostages. Yeah. It was an afterthought. He had to throw it in. He is on a show that's run by a non-Christmas celebrator. So he had to throw it in there. But, dude, the reason why the war started is long forgotten. That's not even part. It's like, I don't even remember where. First of all, free the hostages. They can't even free themselves. They're under rubble. I don't even think Israel's plan was to free the hostages. That's a weird plan to free the hostages if you're just going to fucking bomb them on top of them. And it's not Israel, it's Benjamin Netanyahu, who's really testing, he's testing every world leader's fucking patience right now. He's also testing people who support Israel's patience because he is a little heavy-handed. We've made jokes about it all the time. He's a little heavy-handed. And, I don't know. There's a lot to criticize, right? It's like, maybe, you could have lied and said, hey, it's a ceasefire, freed the hostages, and then kept going, right? But it doesn't seem like there's too much concern for the hostages when you're bombing on top of them.
You want to see a good tightrope?
I want to see a good body, and there is one.
Listen to this.
Who's this?
AOC on Israel.
I just like this interview because it's a full body shot.
You got a bunch of
You rarely get a full body shot of AOC, and she's rarely not wearing a business suit. If you're watching this on the main, I don't know if they're going to... I just adjusted my balls. I'm hoping it's just a Patreon, but I feel a little that the main episode was lackluster, so this may come out as the main. Not that we don't value the Patreon members, but there's a lot less of you. So I got to make a good impression.
Yeah, but they pay.
They do pay, but unless they get more people to pay, I'm moving to Canada. It's my solution for everything.
But of course, the dynamic there in terms of geopolitics.
I just want to reiterate, I believe she is disturbingly attractive.
You're a big fan.
Dude, she's so attractive. Okay, anyway. Legs
Or
are
at least is very different than people expressing their First Amendment right to protest. Well, yes, but I also think that what people are starting to see, at least in the occupation of Palestine, is just an increasing crisis of humanitarian condition. And that to me is just where I tend to come from on this issue. You use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that? I think what I meant is like...
You saw her thoughts go, oh my God, I forgot I'm from New York.
The settlements that are increasing in some of these areas and places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and homes. Do you think you can expand on that? Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also just... I am not the expert on geopolitics. Honestly.
Get me out of this conversation.
Yeah.
She wants out.
She wanted out.
She wanted out. It's a confusing one for her. I think her friends got mad at her for this. This was a while ago, wasn't it?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. So I think her friends got mad at her. I think Rashid Kwali got very upset with her about this.
You could see the wheels turning, right?
She got very upset. It's like, why are you two siding this? Why are you two siding this? Oh, Israel and Palestine, the gift that never stops giving in conflict. I've seen people accuse me, like I'm so pro-Israel. I'm not even pro-America. I'm not pro anything. You listen to this podcast, I'm pro people and individuals and peace. And I will just say, it's like the ball, it's too far gone, It's like two sides butting their heads again. Like they're not willing. Nobody's willing to make a deal. That's why we got to get Tawny T back in office because he's the deal maker. I love how he answers the question. Like he doesn't answer the question. He just goes, if I was in office, it wouldn't be happening. And that's just the end of it. He just goes, it would be happening. Ukraine, Russia, what do you think? I just think you guys made a mistake by not putting me in office because if I was, it wouldn't be happening. Let me talk about something else bad. If I was in office, it wouldn't happen. There wouldn't be. What about all these fentanyl decks? You guys, if they didn't steal the election from me, we wouldn't even know that there was a such thing as a fentanyl deck. Israel and Palestine wouldn't be happening.
Can I interest you in a Bible?
Can I interest you in a Bible? I got a lot of them in my house.
He's got a Bible with the Constitution in it and the Bill of Rights.
Not a great look for a presidential candidate to be selling Bibles, but they are hitting him over the head with all these fines. He's got to pay a lot of money to a woman who seems very believable. And he's got to pay in New York City because in New York City he exaggerated the size of his apartment. That's what they got him on. So I did a lot of research on this. I went all the way in on this issue. The civil court ruling by the Attorney General's office on Donald Trump and what exactly happened. Okay, so he, according to the bank and according to everybody, it's quite common practice for people to exaggerate their worth to get a loan, especially people who have a lot of cash, a lot of properties, maybe some celebrity tied in there. The bank makes a judgment on whether they're willing to give the loan, how risky it is, and how legitimate it is. And it's not out of the ordinary for them to adjust with their own auditors, I guess you would call them, or assessors. What would you call them? Investigators? Financial, whatever they are, whatever their proper moniker is. They do their due diligence, run their investigation, and it's not atypical at all for them to adjust the wealth of the entity or person who's applying for the loan and what they represented as being their worth. Specifically, Deutsche cited an instance where they had to adjust Trump's wealth by like $2 billion. And then afterwards, the guy who was testifying on behalf of that fact said that's not atypical. That's a big amount, right? So they're aware of it. They, it's not atypical and it's not disqualifying as far as the bank goes. So what the focus seemed to be is the square footage of the penthouse. So he said his penthouse was a lot bigger than it was to inflate the wealth of about his net worth or whatever, his worth. First of all, worth is something that's hard to pin down, right? Because it's subject to the market. And maybe you can negotiate. That's what a negotiation is, right? Maybe it is. Maybe because someone's buying Donald Trump's apartment, they'd be willing to pay so much over market value. I love John Stewart, but John Stewart criticized Donald Trump, and it was a big miss, in my opinion. It was a big miss. And what Internet Sleuths found out was that his apartment, which was had a market value of like $1 million, sold for $17 million. Who knows why the guy bought it? But then when the guy resold it, he sold it for like a loss of $3 million, right? And people go, "There's nothing illegal." Of course, there's nothing illegal about that. People who say that are kind of missing the point. And I've noticed on Twitter, a lot of them are bots. Because they all said the same thing. John Stewart did nothing illegal. Of course, it's a market sale. Market value is not the same as that. But what he's being accused of is hypocrisy, not doing something illegal. Let me explain this to you, right? Because he was criticizing Trump for devaluing his property for tax purposes. So you want to know the taxes that John paid on his apartment when he sold it? He didn't pay the taxes on the $17 million. He paid them on the not $1 million. It was even valued as less. He paid taxes on like $800,000 on those taxes. Second of all, the owner does not set the worth, the value of the apartment. That's done without their cooperation. So Trump paid taxes on, what it was his properties were deemed to be worth, the same as John Stewart. And similarly, John's the market value of his property was not the same as the value of his property, right? The assessed value of his property. So it's very similar in that you're going in the free market system. It's very malleable about what the actual value is and what the market of value is. You're buying John Stewart's apartment. That's worth another $1 or $2 million, right? Who's to say it's not? It's Donald Trump saying his value. How can you say? And in fact, a lot of the strategy as it came out of Deutsche Bank, who did business with Trump multiple times, was that he's a celebrity. And like this will attract other celebrity clients. Like they wanted to do it to be in business with him. They gave him the loan, right? They got paid back the loan. They made money on the loan because the loan comes with interest. So they didn't get their money back. It was a business deal. It's a business deal, right? The two free market entities get in bed to execute, and both of them left satisfied. So the fraud comes on the fraud is specifically tied to the misrepresenting of the square footage. So the investigators at the bank can't call up the building and find out this. I mean, how could you not know the square footage? I don't even think the bank is claiming to not know the square footage. The attorney general is saying he lied about the square footage. And the bank is probably, how's the bank not know he's lied about? They've caught him lying about his worth, or they've adjusted his worth, because it's not really a lie, right? Because how do you measure your worth, right? You're a celebrity. Things are worth a little more, let's be honest, right? If you're willing to give the loan or not give the loan. These are entities that can protect themselves. They're not like naive people who've been scammed by cryptomaniacs or whatever the case may have you. They haven't been unknowingly defrauded. Is that the right word? Right? They haven't unknowingly been defrauded. Is that the right word?
Sure.
Yeah. You don't know. You're just fucking making me look bad.
No, that sounds right.
And typically this law that she used has never been used in this way. So when this goes to appeal, where the Attorney General's office might come into trouble is if the Attorney General goes, wait a second, this law is for victims, There's no victim here. And the bank didn't ask you. And usually the attorney general is working on behalf of a victim who got defrauded, right? The bank was well aware that he inflates his value, and they gave him the loan. So, and then John Stewart tried to say there's no innocent victims. The funny thing is, and even the attorney general's office put this forth. The victim is the bank. The quote unquote victim, the purported victim is the bank, right? And then also he said the taxpayers. We'll get to that in a second. But the bank, because the bank could have charged a much higher interest rate.
Oh,
Yeah. So
he's fighting for the banks now.
So now, well, John Stewart actually made a comment. He's like, "Who cares about that?" But he's like, he had to make that comment. Right? Because he had to pander to, he remembered what his base was. He's like, but who cares about that point? But it's like, yeah, that's the only point. I mean, how are the taxpayers hurt? What's the argument that the taxpayers were hurt? How are the taxpayers hurt? Somebody, this loan went to him that didn't want to go to somebody else. Well, that's on the bank. That's on the bank. They approved the fucking loan. They wanted to do it. They wanted to be in business with Donald Trump for all the reasons that I just mentioned: money, celebrity, etc. His value. They deemed it a safe investment for them, and they gave him the money. And guess what? It turned out it was the right call. They got their money back with interest, which means they made money, which is how banks make money.
You get worked up.
I mean, because it's you don't have to be a fan of Donald Trump to notice what kind of kangaroo shit this is. I didn't finish my point. So what the appeal judge. The appeal process might find is that the attorney general overstepped her bounds, her jurisdiction, her judicial duty, because she is essentially criminalizing lying. I mean, is that a crime to lie? Is it a crime to lie? People will say, oh, it's a crime to falsify loan documents or to dude, people, we all do that. It's like going 75 into 67. You know what I'm saying? It's against the law, but if you're trying to get a job, and that's your document, who hasn't exaggerated a little bit on their resume? Who doesn't inflate a little bit? If you're trying to get a loan, right? If you lie on your loan thing, it's a crime. The bank just denies you. They just deny you if they deem it. Now, if you lie and they lose money, guess what? The bank's gonna win. It's a win-win for the bank, right? Because they're like, let's do it. And that's why they're fucking, nobody's paying attention to the bank. Nobody's blaming the bank. I thought we were the party of Occupy Wall Street. Not me specifically, but I'm saying, I thought you were the party of Occupy Wall Street. The bank's giving the loan knowing that, hey, we're either going to get our money back, which we think we are, right? That's why we're doing it. That's the primary reason to make money. And if we don't, maybe we can catch him on this. He lied about the square footage of an apartment, and then we'll bring it to the attorney general, and then we'll fuck him. But that didn't happen. So the attorney general just proactively acted on behalf of the bank, who was not asking for their help, because he lied about the square footage. Technically, you could say it's a crime, but so is going 72 and a 65. It makes it seem targeted. In fact, going 75 and a 62 is more dangerous than what happened here, because you're going too fast and you can hurt somebody. Nobody can get hurt here. So what victims are you trying to argue? It's other people who could have got the loan. No, that's the bank's call. That's not up to Dr. Dre. That's the bank. So why are you yelling at Trump? Yell at the bank. Why isn't anyone going, the bank, why did you give him this loan? You're acting like the bank didn't know the fucking square footage of his fucking apartment? Is there anything I'm saying that's crazy? Seriously. From a nonpartisan objective point of view, is there anything I'm saying that's fucking crazy?
Correct.
You're telling me they fucking adjusted his wealth one time by at least $2 billion. I can't remember. It was billions of dollars. But they don't know the square footage of his fucking apartment? I mean, so they know one thing, but they don't know the square footage, which is something you can go look at a record of. But somehow they know that he's off by $2 billion. Right? That's like missing a mountain and seeing a fucking ant. How are you able to see one and not the other? The square footage of his fucking apartment. They knew he was lying on the fucking application. The point is they didn't care. They don't care because it's Donald Trump, and that's what fucking rich people get away with. Basically, you're just seeing what rich people get away with. And part of it is because they have the confidence that this motherfucker is rich and he's a celebrity and he's worth something. We're going to get our fucking money back. He's an experienced real estate developer. We believe in this property. We believe in what he's doing. We're going to get our money back.
And they did, right?
And they did get their money. They did get it back. So what's the fucking crime here? Who's the victim? And so they try to make the victim. They go, the victim is the taxpayers. Now, how are the taxpayers the victim? I don't even remember the argument he made, but what is the way that the taxpayer could have been a victim? I don't understand. Maybe I'm missing something. We got to pull it up. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something I'm missing. But I know that the primary victim is the bank because they could have charged higher interest rates if they would have known that he was inflating his value. Newsflash, they did know. They did know. They've known before. They knew that time. They're not a fucking naive. You're talking about a financial institution. That's their business, is to give loans to people. You don't think they do due diligence to figure out if the person can pay this back? I don't know.
Oh, you think the banks can't handle this?
Yeah, the banks can't. So we're acting on behalf. The banks can't handle it.
They're overwhelmed.
They're overwhelmed. They can't. They're not making enough money.
So I don't know if we could play this because it might be under a copyright law.
All right. So there is good reason for why I don't necessarily understand how the taxpayers were hurt. And I found out what it is. The key argument is that Trump systematically inflated the value of his assets to secure favorable loans and tax treatment at the direct expense of taxpayers who had to make up the difference. The lawsuit and penalties are aimed at clawing back these ill-gotten gains. Now, here's where the hypocrisy comes in. John Stewart sold his apartment for $17 million. He paid taxes on $800,000+. So did the taxpayers have to make up the difference there? And also, how is the tax set? How is the tax set? You're going to learn it right here. You're going to learn it right here. How it's the county clerk's office. How are the taxes on your property determined, right? Let's see. The property's assessed value is the key factor in determining the property taxes. The local tax assessor determines the assessed value, which is usually less than the property's market value. So it is the local tax assessor or the county clerk's office, right? The assessed value is calculated by multiplying the property's appraised value by an assessment ratio set by state law. So it has nothing to do with the market value, and it has nothing to do with how much you portray your portray your worth to be. It's got nothing to do with that. It's assessed by someone else. It's not assessed by what you said on the loan document. So it is hypocrisy because John Stewart paid taxes on the assessed tax value, which was even lower than the 1,000. So it was like, and then he sold it for $17 million. Which is way over value. So there's no difference. I do love John Stewart. I think he's brilliant. I just thought this was a very big miss. And I did watch it, and he skedaddled real quick over, well, the banks could have charged interest rate, but who cares about that? And then he just went real quick, where you're going like, that's what the Attorney General's office was claiming was the victim. That and the taxpayers, because they had to make up the difference because Donald Trump's not paying his fair share. First of all, he's way not the only one. Second of all, they do it by taking advantage of all these laws that are in their favor, and singling him out just seems a little fucking odd. It seems a little fucking odd. And then trying to get him on this law that has the purpose of protecting people who were the victims of fraud, and has never been used in this way before is odd. It's odd, and you can make a very strong argument that she's overstepping her bounds and her duty. Her duty is not to judge business deals in the free market. Her duty is to protect victims of financial crimes, people who've been scammed and frauded. The bank wasn't scammed. How could they be scammed if they knew? They don't have to say that they know, right? But they kind of did in testimony, said, well, let me tell you, for example, one time we had to adjust what he said his worth was down to $2 million. And then they followed up by saying that is not atypical. That's a very common thing with these loans, is that we adjust, we do our due diligence, and we adjust, and we come to an agreement, and we loan out what we think can be loaned out. So what's the difference between me going, hey, man, the last gig I got paid $400,000. I'm lying. And they agree to it. Do I go to jail? Do I have to pay a fucking $400 million bond?
Well, that's the other thing, the price. Well, where did they come up with that
Where did
fee?
they come up with the 450? Well, what do you have to pay?
$450 million, but then it got reduced down to 175 in the appeal court.
So he had to pay
Originally
it's for it. So where do you come up with that figure? How do you calculate that?
Exactly.
Oh, we're making up for the tax. It's like a shakedown. It's almost like a fucking shakedown.
Some people were saying they were trying to cripple him, because then what they could do is if he can't make the payment, then they could seize his property.
It seems that way because to me, I guess falsifying loan documents is, I guess, a crime. I guess. But so is going 72 and a 65. That's a crime. You've committed a crime.
Not to mention she's New York's lawyer. New York has a lot of problems right now. And that's what.
Yeah, but I'm sticking to. I want to stick to the fucking actual thing that happened, right? Like, yeah, you could argue, but other people would say, "But we got to make these billionaires accountable." It's like, how about we make the banks accountable? How about the banks? It's not the responsibility of the person to accurately portray their value, against the fucking banks, these scumbags who fucking charge us fucking money, who lend out our money to other people and go, hopefully this thing won't crash. Who fucking set these rates and just bleed us and give us credit cards and get everyone addicted to buying things they can't afford because it's good for their business, because they make interest on it. You want that refrigerator, don't you? Well, I got a way you could do it. I'm what you call a legitimate loan shark. I know you can't. If I know you're a degenerate gambler, but I'm giving you this loan because I know you got this store. And instead of, the mob would go like this. I'll loan you the money, right? Even though they know he's a degenerate gambler, I'll loan you the money because they know they got some store. And they go, guess what? You can't pay the loan. First of all, we break your legs and squeeze every dime out of you. If not, we take your house, we take your store. Now we're your silent partner in the store. That's how it goes. And we run that what do we do there? We run that into the ground. We get in silent partner, and then we order all this shit and file for bankruptcy. And that's how they do that. Right? So what do the banks do? They go, all right, we'll seize your assets. I mean, we take what we can, and the majority of the people will be slaves to these fucking, the interest we charge them. And if we lose one, we lose one. We file for bank, the government bails us out. The taxpayers bail out the banks. Didn't the taxpayers bail out the banks in 2008? Those are the victims. They're victims of the banks, not Donald Trump. It's very interesting. This was a massive swing and a miss for John Stewart. I'll just be honest. That was my opinion of it. It was a massive, he was trying to say this wasn't a victimless crime. And what he quoted as the victims was the taxpayers. I still don't understand how. And he, like I said, he really mumbled over that. The banks could have charged a higher search. Let's make sure they can do that. Let's really make sure the banks can do that. Not the business, not the person trying to get the loan for business to create jobs and do all this. This is like an attack on our system. It's like an attack on, America's why does America have the number one economy? Because people trust it. Because courts don't do shit like this. Because we have a judicial process. If someone gets frauded, they go, this kid just got, what do you get, 25 years?
Who?
The fucking finger sniffer from the Cayman Islands. FTX.
Oh, yeah.
You got 25 years.
That's right, yeah.
It's a good amount of time. That's a lot of time.
Sam Bankman-Fried.
I thought he was going to get a slap on the wrist, but they threw the book at him. Sometimes a lot of these scumbags get slapped on the wrists and people go to countries corrupt. Here's the thing. You're comparing it to a vacuum. In a perfect world, this country's corrupt. But when you compare it to every other country, we're doing pretty good. Minus a bunch of them in Europe. About the same. Yeah, some of them could be a little shady, Switzerland. But a lot of other ones are, the same. So it's like this is an attack on a businessman who was trying to get a loan. Who everyone's going to try to inflate their. If you're trying to get a loan, you want to get the best interest rate possible. So everyone's going to inflate to a certain degree.
Right. They say, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And this is the loan I want. And the bank says, okay, we'll come look at the property. So you say, let's say you want $4 billion. Bank looks at the property, says, you know what?
I'll give you one.
Yeah.
I'll give you one. I don't. You're saying you're worth this. I don't think you're worth this.
Right.
And whoops, we forgot to measure your apartment. We forgot to really get the ruler down on your apartment. We could have looked that up anywhere. I mean, is it not public record how big his fucking apartment is? I mean, how can you even hide that? So he wrote it down on the thing. I think he even said in his testimony it was a mistake. How can you argue it wasn't a mistake? How can you prove it wasn't a mistake? It's like the Joe Biden says. He goes, "Oh, it was a mistake. I forgot." And they just go, "All right, we take your word for it." Right?
It appears to be lawfare. It appears to be that they're trying to take him down through the system.
It's his personality they go after, right? Because him and Joe Biden did the same crime. They had classified documents. Joe Biden had them for a lot longer when he was a fucking senator, vice president. At least Trump was president, right? But even still, supposedly Trump afterwards, because Trump's a fucking idiot and he's a fucking narcissist, and he goes for the jugular and he can't admit defeat in anything. I mean, he's worse than Michael Jordan. He's going, fuck you. I'm the president. I classify, and then he's trying to hide him. He's trying to move him. He's obstructing justice. And that's really what he's in trouble for, right? Whereas Biden cooperated. So it was the crime was the same, right? The crime was the same. But it's the way they acted afterwards, which is different, right? So because Trump's this boisterous person, he's always just going, fuck you. He gets a gag order. He's like, fuck that gag order. Well,
it's good for his brand.
He's just defiant.
Right.
Yeah, it's good for his
but
brand.
that always, his numbers go up after that.
It works for his brand. And look, if I was the left, I'd say, hey, man, we got this fucking hush money. We have this election fraud thing in Georgia. Those are real cases. Those are real things that he did. What the fuck are we doing in New York City? All you're doing, I don't know who's behind the fucking wheel. First of all, I'm not saying it's a left-wing conspiracy. I don't know that. But it looks like it is. So if it is, and you're playing dirty ball like that, why won't you at least be smart with your dirty ball? And go, why the fuck would we delegitimize? Why would we bring the focus away? Why would we give any fodder to the other side and undermine those other legitimate cases, right? Where there's evidence and you can make a case. Like, look, dude, the guy called and was like, get me those votes. And he's denying the election and he's saying inflammatory things to spark an insurrection. Whatever you want to call it, protests, whatever, whoever's watching, protest or insurrection, whatever you want to call it. They broke into the fucking Capitol. I don't know. Were they let in? I don't know. Some of them were let in. Some of those cops vote right. So that's probably why a lot of them were let in. Nobody ever says that. It's always some I could have been. So people are like, oh, it could have been the FBI having informants. Maybe they did. Maybe they did because they definitely had some informants working with those people who were trying to kidnap the governor of that state, right? Some informants who were egging that dude on.
Oh, Michigan, right?
Michigan, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they did have people egging them. I'm sure they did. That still doesn't mean that they're not guilty of going in. If someone tells you to jump off the bridge, it's a little entrapment. I don't know. But still, you're the party of personal responsibility, right? Don't fucking break into the Capitol. Even if someone's going, come on, let's go in. Don't go. It's against the law, right? Or nobody brings up this point. There's a lot of those fucking cops that like Trump, right? And maybe some of them are going come on, guys, I'll let you in. Do what you got to do. Look the other way. Whoops, I forgot about the cameras. Maybe that's that too. I bet you both were present a little bit. I bet you there was definitely FBI informants there. And I bet you definitely there was some cops who were just like, Trump 2024. I bet you Sean Terry was there in uniform. And he was going, I agree with what you fucking doing. They stole the selection. Trump 2024. And they maybe did a secret signal, a little handshake. Trump 2024. And they opened the door. Right? But that at least has some sort of argument. There's some argument to be. I don't even understand the argument here in New York City.
Well, she did run on this. Letitia James, she ran on this
platform. I'm going to take down Trump.
Take down Trump, and people voted for this in New York.
Yeah, because they want to take him down. So she just tried to find the thing.
And
this is what she could tie him on.
Yeah,
it's a campaign promise. And this is what she tied him to. She found this and she tied him to this law, which has never been used for this purpose, has only been used to protect victims, people who've, and what I mean by victims, people who've lost money, people who've been lied to, and then they lost money because they were naive and they couldn't protect themselves. That's the most important part. That's her function, is to protect people who can't protect themselves. That's why they need the Attorney General's office. The bank Deutsch does not need the Attorney General's office to fucking help them, especially evinced by the fact, if you don't know the word evinced, get smarter, evinced by the fact that they didn't ask. And they didn't ask because they made money and they did it willingly and they knew. Okay, so let's stop fucking beating around that fact. The fact is the bank knew he was exaggerating. The bank didn't care about the square footage of his fucking apartment. They knew. So shut the fuck up. You're looking like a moron. I called him John Smith. John Stewart, you made yourself look stupid. It was a little partisan hackery there. If you wanted to do a good job, you should have focused on those other two fucking things and maybe made fun of this one, because ain't nothing going to change about the reality that Yanni just said you. It's the objective reality. It's given to me by God because God speaks through me, and God wants Trump to win.
Oh, no. That sounded like an endorsement to me.
No, I went through this with a comb.
Yeah.
I went through this with a comb. And the advantage of listening to this podcast is I'm not scared to go after anyone. I just told you I think the other two cases are kind of legitimate. I think there's a legitimate probable cause in those two. Hush money, that's bad. You know? You pay some fucking hush money, you bang. I mean, come on, if the shoe was on the other foot and fucking Joe Biden was caught to pay a porn star hush money to keep her quiet, what would they be doing? What would they be doing? So that's a serious thing. The other thing is fucking the election denial and fucking calling, making a phone call to Georgia saying, find me those votes. I mean, you're putting your arm on them a little bit.
Now, those cases got pushed back, right?
They got pushed back.
Yeah, so they might not affect the election.
They may not affect the election, but they're legitimate cases at least. Things that he fucking did that could be crimes. This is a crime? Fucking lying on a loan application to Deutsche Bank? Again, I'll say the last sentence. The bank knew. So who's the victim? The bank knew, right? Here's the perfect example. I say I'm worth $400,000. I got paid $400,000 on my last gig. I'm inflating it to make people think I get one. Let's say I went high and said 4. And then the person buyer knows I'm lying, right? Because 400 is obvious bluster, right? But then they go, you know what? The guy knows Joe Rogan. This may just be good for business. Maybe we give him this deal. We tell him, talk good about this gig. Maybe we score Joe Rogan. That's what happened here. That's what this is. Donald Trump's a celebrity. You know, that's what this is, right? And then I go put on an amazing show and it sells tickets. And everyone's happy. So I lied, right? I didn't get paid $400 on my last gig, but they agreed to give it to me. So then they come back and prosecute me for lying. Let's say I even put it in writing. So now I'm getting prosecuted for putting it in writing. I get prosecuted for a lie? Huh? Morally, that's the same. I don't know what laws are on the books. I guess it's on the books that you can't lie on a loan application, whatever the fuck that means, right? I'm sure everyone does it. It's like going 75 into 60, 72 into 65. But that would be morally the same anatomy. They say yes because they know I'm lying, but they say yes because they think it'll be good for business generally and they'll get paid back. So what is it? What are you looking up?
10 strange laws still on the books in New York.
Okay, carrying an ice cream in your pocket on Sundays is against the law.
That's against the law.
There's a $25 fine for flirting. That's still in the books. No speaking to anyone in elevators. That's still in the books. It's illegal to throw a ball at someone's head. That's a good one. It's on the books, but I don't know if you go to jail for that. Can't sell dog or cat fur. It's a good one. Wearing slippers after 10 p.m. is prohibited. So those are still in the books, right? Now, look, this law is good if it's used for what it's intended to be used for. This is not what it's intended to be used for. So you very well may see that come to fruition as a ruling in the appeal process, where the judge goes, the attorney general is going way out of the scope of what her duty is. And then they just throw it out. I mean, if that happens, you heard it here first. You know what I mean? Because I read the whole thing. I read it from every angle. I read the people who were saying it wasn't hypocrisy with John. And it is hypocrisy because he paid taxes on the undervalued sum and he sold it for $17 million. So he didn't say to the guy, whoa, it's not worth $17 million, guy. Whoa, come on. It's worth 1. I'm John Stewart. Give it to me for 4. Okay? Just give it to me for 4. That's inflated enough. He took a 700 and something plus % market inflation, and he put it in his pocket. because that's our system. You know what you're worth? You're worth what someone's willing to give you. That's what you're worth. And you negotiate that process. The bank's not an exception to that when they give you a loan. They assume risks. They do due diligence. It's just funny. The whole thing rests on ignoring the fact that the victim here is supposed to be the bank. And everyone, they're trying to ignore that. Being like, it's the taxpayers because he paid it on he undervalued it when he was paying. Of course he's going to undervalue it, like we all do. Like everyone does. But he doesn't have to give the accurate value when he's trying to get a loan or when he's trying to sell something. Nobody pays taxes on that price. Everyone pays taxes on the assessed price. He's got no control over what that price is. So what the fuck is the argument here? You're just ignoring the fact that you're trying to say this was a crime and you're arguing on behalf of the banks. And boy, what a turn of events. That you got liberals protecting banks. So I'm sorry, it was an 829% overvalue. So I was even undervaluing his overvalue of 829%. He sold it for $17+ million. So there is some hypocrisy in making the argument that he hurt the taxpayers by undervaluing his properties for tax purposes and overvaluing it for a loan, because the anatomy is the same. Selling it or getting the loan, it's the same. It's the morality of it. There's no crime in that one. I guess there's a little bit of a crime on the books about lying on a loan application. Again, $450 million crime. That nobody else does, by the way. I'm sure Trump's the only one. I'm sure he's the only single person who's done that. I mean, you're really opening up a can of worms. Let's go look at some of these loans a lot of these, some liberals have, right, billionaires have asked for. You're going to find it. And the bank's going to go, what the fuck are you doing? We knew. The fuck? We made our own assessment. We decided it's we're a private bank. We fucking loan out what we want to loan out. I don't even understand this. I don't even understand this trial. The bank fucking makes their own decisions. They're a big boy. They're federally protected. The fuck? They got tons of other people's money. It's a big deal. All right. I guess this is a good time to reveal the fact that I've been hired as Trump's lawyer. I am Trump's lawyer and spokesperson for this 2024 campaign, and I just wanted to let you know that this podcast is indirectly, quote unquote, indirectly, the thoughts and perspective of our next president to be. And I want you to know that I'm here to advocate on his behalf the whole time. It's what we are in America right now. Everything I said right now is just, it's so right. I know I'm wrong a lot, but it's so right. But people who fucking hate Trump are going to just listen to this and go like, you're wrong. But I'm not wrong. I'm admitting, okay, I guess on the books it's a crime to lie on an application, to misrepresent your worth on a loan application. I guess that's a crime. I guess nobody's done it. I guess he's the only one who's done it. Did I miss anything?
I think what people forget is that this train goes both ways. So your guy's not going to be in power at some point, and they can do these same tricks.
They could do the same thing when AOC is president.
Exactly.
But who we can? She's not a real estate developer. They only catch her lying about if she's got a Zin in her pocket that she paid for or not. She's like, wait, you gave me 2 Zins. I go, oh, no. And she'll have one in her pocket and a third one in her pocket.
Once you open the door to this kind of stuff, though.
Yeah, you could target anyone for any little type of... Can you prosecute someone for lying, especially when the other party assumes you're lying? I mean, now you're legislating lying? Lying is a crime? That's weird, dude. That's weird. You're going to have to go into every rap song and be like, do you really have 18 hoes? Do you really have 14 Bentleys? You know? Did that story you told really happen in that comedy skit? Okay? It's not a crime, right? Should Hassan Minaj go to jail? No. Should he be ridiculed on my podcast? Yes. Should Steve Renazzisi be fined $450 million? You could say he defrauded the taxpayers, right? They paid for his shows. Those tickets were taxed, right? There was another comedian who could have got the opportunities that he got, building his career off this hero narrative. God, I hear he's a nice guy. I'm sorry I'm doing this. But you just got to live with these for the rest of your life, right? I bet you, even if I was friends with him, I would still be saying this stuff. Thankfully, I'm not, because I'd be feeling a lot more guilty if I was. But anyway, why would I be feeling guilty? I'm the one that did 9/11 disaster relief, but I have a good heart. He's a good guy. He admitted it. You got to fucking give some credit to someone who just takes it, who just says, I would have had a lot more respect if Hassan just said, I know I did it. I was fucking doing it to look cool, to fucking gain some fucking social justice points. It's what my fan base wants to hear. Fuck, you got me. Wouldn't that be great if Hassan Minhaj just said that? Right? Even about the girlfriend shit. Even if he wanted to keep that lie, I wouldn't. He was like, listen, yeah, she fucking, look at this email, whatever. But if he had just said, okay, as far as the fucking powder, you got me. Okay, I'm not going to claim this comedic license bullshit. I know you just watched a news. That was scrubbed, by the way. It disappeared. What? So there was an interview he did on TV where he was telling the story about the powder on a serious interview, like it really happened. Like it wasn't in a comedic context, right? It was like a serious. He's like, yeah, this is what I go, and yeah, sometimes I get a little scared, sometimes it's a little freaky out there. I know I'm up against these white supremacist forces, but I continue on anyway because I'm the William Wallace of Indian people. I'm the Gandhi of Condi. I'm the Gandhi of comedy. That was the thing. And somehow that interview, you can't find it anymore, but I saw it with my own eyes. I retweeted it, got thousands of tweets, and I just said it was funny. It's funny. But dude, if I was his advisor, I'd say, yo, just fucking own it, man. Just fucking go with it, But then again, it does hurt you because look at Steve Ranzisi's career now. Whereas I think Hassan's still going strong. So maybe just deny to the end. Maybe Trump's right. And I love the fact that he hates Trump because Trump does the same thing. He gets caught doing something wrong and he just denies it. So you're doing the same thing. So there's irony and hypocrisy all the fucking way around. And that's why you don't like Yanni. Because I'm an agent of truth. I'm the Hall of Justice. I'm the fucking Green Lantern, baby. And when I put on these glasses and I sit in this chair, I'm a superhero who can't be stopped. What minute are we at? Can't end yet. I'm going to end it on that, but I can't. I can't. Yeah, I got 9 more minutes to give the people their fill.
That's right. You can't shortchange the fans.
You can't shortchange the fans. But you can make that argument. Say, hey, there was another comedian who could have gotten that. There's a comedian who tells the truth, who could have charged higher tech prices, right? But instead, these comedy clubs were giving him all this money, and his career was based on this big story that he escaped the Twin Towers, hilariously. I don't want to repeat it, but the best is I heard some comedian, I don't know if I gave it away, but some big comedian who said funny, after that Mark Maron interview where he recounted the whole story of escape from the Twin Towers, he just got in his car after the interview, and he just Steve Renazizi, he looks in the rearview mirror and he goes, God, what am I doing? Or just something like, this has got out of hand. Like, well, what am I doing?
So wait, remind me, what did he do?
He made up a story that he escaped the Twin Towers.
Wow, so he was in the building.
He made up a story that he was in the Twin Towers.
Jesus.
When we moved to LA, he started telling people it.
Oh.
And it really set him apart, It was like a story. And then he was in the story. So then, he went on Maron and he like recounted it. Like he was like, tell me about it. So he told the whole fake story. Like,
he's making it up as he goes along.
Yeah, we went through this hallway and there was smoke there.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's brutal, dude.
And where was he?
I mean, a lot of people died on that day.
What was he, in Jersey City?
He wasn't anywhere. He got caught when Comedy Central, when he got his career was cooking, right? He's the Buffalo Wild Wings Spurs person. He had the show, Fantasy, The League. Mm-hmm. He was as hot as fish grease. And then this was back when Comedy Central was still relevant. He had an hour special coming out. And New York Times was doing a report on him, and they were like, well, you escaped from the tower. This is like a big, when he should, like, these people just don't understand. When you commit crimes and you're bad, lay low. Don't hire a PR rep. Don't want press. Don't ask the New York Times to publicize it. People just don't get it. They don't see themselves as criminal. You're a criminal on the run. Your whole career is a lie. It's based on a lie. You're a criminal on the run. You have to live as a criminal on the run. Okay? When Comedy Central approaches you and says, we'll give you go, I'm going to put this one on YouTube. I'm putting it on YouTube. Buffalo Wild Wings, they're not going to fucking look into it. But Comedy Central, that the comedy world, that's when the fucking liberal muckraking the liberal muckraking reporters are going to get in there, right? But if you're going for Buffalo Wild Wings, they'll be like, I heard you escaped from the towers. And they're going, look, your popularity's this, we'll pay you this. Nobody's caring about those deals. But once you're talking about art, once you get into that art thing, once the special's coming out, it's the same problem Hassan had. It's like, if you know you're lying about the powder, put your special on YouTube. You go to Netflix for another one? What took so long for a reporter to get on this? I think it was the New Yorker that got him, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, you got to be a little nervous. You got to be you're just hoping. Because the thing about people like this is they just think they're so much smarter than everyone. They're going to get away. Here's the thing. When you get away with it for a while, or you get away with it a little bit, you just assume you're going to get away with it.
Yeah.
You just assume you're going to win.
Bold.
Yeah, like Diddy, you just assume like you get away with it. That just builds confidence. You get bolder and bolder and bolder, because it goes back to that old oxymoron. Like, what's the point of the perfect crime if you can't tell anybody about it? It goes back to that oxymoron. It's like, nobody wants to commit a crime and then be quiet about it, because that's not the criminal mentality. You get your ego juice from people knowing that you're the fucking shit. You're the man. I'm smarter than you. I get over. And what good is it if you don't know it? That's what's so funny about the human. That's Sisyphus. That's us. I'm strong enough to push this rock. Well, guess what? You pushed it up a hill. Now it's going to fall down on you. But you feel so good. You feel so strong when you're pushing it up. And then the world goes, you're not in charge here. You're not in charge. You're not in charge. What was a scandal the best thing to happen to him? Of course, he's fucking good. He's huge. Great. I don't care. Like, whatever. Do what you got to do. Deny it all the way. Maybe that was Renazisi's problem. He should have denied it and said, like, who are you to say I wasn't in the towers? I'm a comedian. It was a story. I made up a story. I'm an entertainer. What's the problem? If he did that, he'd probably be okay. Because then their people just come, this fan, they just depend them. They love him. So they go, you know what? He's making a point.
He identifies as someone in the towers.
He identifies, so he's speaking for those people, and he's an entertainer. We don't assume, like people, like comedian stories, we don't think that they're all true. Just like a lot of Hassan's fans going like, fuck them. They were going after him because he's Muslim. He's trying to take down one of our heroes. He's a comedian. You don't expect comedian, and they just ignore the fact that he's sitting there on an earnest news program telling the story as if it happened to him in real life with no comedic context whatsoever, in a serious interview. They don't care. It's what you can sell, what you can spell. Good for him. Good for him. I'd love to fucking work with him. Let's do a show where we make things up. You know who I got shot by? White supremacists. You know what I was doing? I was protecting minority children.
There you go.
I should have done that, right?
Uh-huh.
That should have been the fucking big lie.
You got to play the game, man.
Yeah, you got to fucking play the game. So it's fun when you find out these people in anatomy are doing the same thing as Trump, right? Denying. There's no question, objectively, that he made that story up to gain social justice points. There's no question he didn't make it up for a joke. It was for people to believe. He wanted people to believe it happened to him because it boosts his stature in that scene. There's no question that what I just said is true, right? John Stewart did end up selling his apartment for over 800% of the value of the apartment. He did pay taxes only on the 8%. And I guarantee you, when John Stewart met with his accountant, he didn't go, the accountant said, we can pay lower if we do this. And I guarantee you, John didn't go, no, I'm a man of principle. Don't do that. Don't write that off. I want everything by the buck. Don't write that off. That was not just a dinner with me and my wife in Vegas. I was there talking business. I bet you he said, don't do that. Because the accountant said, hey, let's just put that on the business card. He goes, no. Okay, I did meet with Seth Meyers. Okay, I did meet with Coco. I did meet with all these other establishment comedians in Vegas. Okay, but we ended up not talking about anything business. I put it on my business card by accident. Okay, so don't write it off. I'm robbing taxpayers. If you listen to me, accountant, listen to Juserstein. Okay, don't it ended up not being a business meal. We didn't talk business there. So I want you to tell the IRS I made a mistake. I'd like to pay a little more taxes. I guarantee you that's what Johnny Stewart did, just like the rest of us do. What's up? Want to give a small business shout out. New tradition. The newest members, they go first. They go first. Their first read. My boy James Pappas, no relation. No relation because my real name is Pappas. So my grandfather changed it from little boy's penis to a very popular Greek surname. Is a surname the last name?
Sure.
Yeah.
Good move.
Good move. All right. So what does James Pappas have? We have no idea where it is. He hasn't given us his full copy yet. But if you've ever passed a place that's called Suds Auto Spa, it's owned by James Pappas, a fellow Greek close to my heart. I support the Greeks. Okay, we support each other. I appreciate it. Suds Auto Spa. What do they do over there? Well, they offer vehicle wraps. I don't know what that is. Ceramic coatings and boutique storage. They take care of your car.
What storage?
Boutique storage. So, like, you know how you give your dog to doggy daycare if you go away on a vacation?
Uh-huh.
You want your car to hang out with its friends? You give it to Suds Auto Spa, and it gets to hang out with the other cars for the weekend.
Okay.
I assume. Or ceramic coatings and vehicle wraps. If you want to wrap it up, if you don't want to go in raw dad, if you want your car to be protected during
put
sex.
Put a decal on there?
You want to put a decal on there, whatever it is.
Yeah.
He says, I'm not sure if that's a conflict of interest with other brands working with you. No, what are you talking about? We don't have any other auto spas.
He's just being polite.
You're just being polite, James.
You should wrap your Tesla. Yannis Pappas
I'm
Hour?
going to wrap my Tesla. Suds Auto Spa, somewhere in America. We will tell you when they tell us where they are. And, of course, we got, after you go to Suds Auto Spa, you want to sell your car to someone and they need to move it because it's out of state, you go to exclusiveautoshipping.com. And Jared Z will take care of you. Okay? Military and student discounts apply at exclusiveautoshipping.com. If you're moving your car, you bought your car out of state, hit him up. Chris Minetti, 215-750-3730. Cashes checks at Wawa's for you, baby. Right in the parking lot. He'll cash that business check for you. Give him a call at that number. He will cash your business check in the Philly and South Jersey area. For the free .art is music in Hawaii. As usual, check him out. For the free .art. And also, we're brought to you by the greatest social media manager. Our numbers have skyrocketed since we've started using Nate Linder. That's Nate_Linder on Instagram. He will get your business ranked #1. He's been crushing it with construction companies. With if you listened last episode, a lot of you tune out too early. You should listen to these because that was one of the funniest parts of the episode when I gave him some marketing video ideas for construction companies. Show me a packer. DisplayPros.net. They will build your custom trade booth at a trade show. Retail fixtures, promotional items, they'll build it all for you. Build something for us, DisplayPros.net. How about a new sign? I don't know, some shorts. Build me a weed pen. Whatever you want to do. You get 10% off if you mention my name, your first order. Then, of course, we got Ma Insurance Services, MA Insurance Services in St. Petersburg, Florida. They got to be doing great. Matthew Albani's got to be doing great because he's still here, right? And this podcast is protected by MA Insurance Services. Nobody can sue me. Nobody can do nothing to me because I got a great umbrella plan from Pran. That's the second time I've said Pran. I did it last episode, too. I got an umbrella plan with Matthew Albani who offers all types of insurance services. It's a local independent agency, and they're located in St. Petersburg, Florida. Then CapperTech.com, sports handicapper. Look, if you're putting some juice on a game, why not check out CapperTech? It's free, right? They simulate game results using AI to give you the best advice possible based on all the stats, which is usually fucking how Vegas does it. So why not give yourself a shot? Check them out, CapperTech.com. All you got to do is download the app, the CapperTech app, at the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. It's pretty simple. Rebels Raider, does he have new bags yet?
Not yet.
Can you send us the military stuff? Okay, he's sold out of his bags right now. They're so good. I use it. Rebels-Raiders.com for your real deal tactical gear. I guess maybe, I don't know, keep checking?
Yeah.
He's out, but what does he still got?
Military surplus.
It's military surplus. Like we said, hope he's got some South Korean prostitutes in my dad's honor. I don't know what military surplus is, but check out the website. The bags are great. They're so good they sold out. We got one here. You don't want it, huh?
No, I want it.
Yeah.
Make me an offer.
No, you got a free one right there.
No, I'm saying if someone wants it.
If someone wants it. Jesse's got one.
Yeah.
Listen, we got one. All right. You can't have mine. I use it every weekend. But we got one. We got to sell on the black market. Rebels-Raiders.com. ThinkingMan.substack.com is a New York City-based newsletter that publishes articles, essays, and thoughts on things, books, movies, pop culture. You can read it for free. Subscriptions are free, or you can, support them by giving them $5 a month if you're feeling generous. So go check out Thinking Man, all one word, .substack.com.